In this coordinate geometry lesson, we're looking at part 3, plotting points from a table of values. To plot points on our graph, we need to have what is called an ordered pair. Now, do you remember what an ordered pair is? Ordered pairs have two numbers, and the first number is always the x-coordinate, and the second number is the y-coordinate. So for example, 2 and 3 is an example of an ordered pair, and when we have coordinates like this, we can plot it on a graph. Here we see a table instead, and we don't see ordered pairs, but we can still use this table to get the ordered pair so that we can plot them on the graph. You see that the top row, where it says x, there's numbers 0, 1, 2, and 3. It means that these numbers are the x-coordinates. Bottom row, where there is a y, we see a -4, -2, 0, and 2. And so it means that these four numbers are the y-coordinates. So how do they make up an ordered pair? They pair up like this, one x with one y. This is one pair. So if I were to list them, and I'll give them an alphabet to give them names, I'll call the first pair A, the second pair B, the third pair C, and the last one D. So the coordinates for point A would be 0 for x and -4 for y. For B, x coordinate is 1 and the y would be the -2. For point C, I'm looking at right here, and so the x-coordinate is 2 and the y is 0. And lastly, for point D, I have 3 as my x-coordinate, and I have 2 for my y-coordinate. Now that we have the ordered pairs shown here for the points A, B, C, and D, we're ready to plot them on the graph. So let's go ahead and plot them. Plotting points on a graph involves 3 steps. You first need to start at the origin. Then we have to move along the x-axis. And to do this, for any positive number, we have to move to the right. For any negative number, we have to move to the left. Then we need to move along the y-axis. For any positive, we need to move up, and for any negative, we need to move down. Knowing these steps, we're ready to plot them. Let's begin with point A. It is 0 for the x and -4 for the y. Starting at the origin, right here, I'm going to begin to plot them. First, let's label the axis to make it clear. Now, starting at the origin, for the x, it's 0. So I cannot move to the left or right, but I have to stay on the x. Then for the y, it is -4. Because this is a negative, along the y, I need to be moving 4 steps downwards. And so here is where point A is. This is point A, and the coordinates are 0 and -4. Point B has the coordinates 1 and -2. So starting at the origin, 1 along the x, so 1 towards the positive. Then I need to move 2 steps along the y, and it's a -2, so it means I need to move 2 steps downwards. So here is the point, and so this would be point B. And the coordinates are 1 and -2. For point C, we have the x-coordinate 2 and the y-coordinate 0. So starting at the origin, I need to move 2 steps along the x. Being a +2, I need to move 2 steps towards the right. Then the y-coordinate is 0. And that means that I can take only 0 steps along the y. Taking 0 steps mean that I cannot move up or down, but I have to stay where I am. So here would be the point for C. And the coordinates are 2 and 0 for C. Last point is D. It has the coordinates 3 for x and 2 for y. So starting at the origin, I have to move 3 steps along the x. Being a positive 3, I need to move towards the right 3 steps. And the y being 2, a positive 2, I need to move up 2 steps. So right here would be where I have my point D. Sometimes the question will ask you whether the points make up a straight line. And as you can see with this table of values, the points A, B, C, and D, if you were to connect them, it makes a straight line. Let's go through a practice question together. Here we have a table of values. From this table of values, we will plot points on this graph. We see that there are 4 numbers for the x and 4 numbers for the y. So it means that there will be 4 pairs. So we will have 4 ordered pairs, and it means that we will plot 4 points. Before we begin to plot them, let's start by labeling the axis. So I'll start by labeling x-axis, followed by the y. Then, using the information given in this table of values, I'm going to give each point its coordinates. So I'm going to write A, B, and C, and D. And you all know that with an ordered pair, x comes first, followed by the y. And so looking at the first pair, the x-coordinate is -3 and the y is 7. The second pair B, x is -1 and the y is 5. For C, x is 0 and y is 4. And for D, it is 2 for the x-coordinate and 2 for the y-coordinate. Now that we have our ordered pairs, we can begin to plot them. And you would remember that you always start at the origin, then move along the x-axis, then move along the y-axis to plot the points. So let's start. For A, we begin at the origin, we move 3 steps along the x, -3, so we're moving towards the left. Then from here, 7 steps along the y, +7, so I am moving up 7 steps upwards. So here would be point A. My coordinates are -3 and 7. For point B, starting at the origin, I have -1 for the x. Being a negative number, I need to move 1 step to the left. Then from here, 5 for the y, +5, so I need to be moving up 5. So right here would be my point B. And the coordinates are -1 and 5. For point C, starting at the origin, it is 0 for x, meaning I have to stay right here because 0 steps along the x means I cannot move, so I'm still right here at the origin. 4 for the y, so +4 means I need to move 4 steps upwards. So from right here, moving up 4 steps upwards, this point would be C. And the coordinates are 0 and 4 for C. And lastly, for point D, we have the coordinates 2 for the x and 2 for the y. So starting at the origin, I'm moving 2 steps on the x, positive, so moving 2 steps to the right, then moving 2 steps along the y, positive 2, so I'm moving 2 steps up. So right here would be point D. And the coordinates for point D is 2 and 2. And the 4 points are plotted. Let's check and see if these points make up a straight line. Are we able to connect the 4 points and form a straight line? And the answer is yes. Thanks for watching. Follow me for more.